time for a siesta here in St. Louis, Missouri. It's Cinco de Mayo, and the Phils and the St. Louis Cardinals are getting set to wrap up a 4-game series. The Phils are hoping for a series split. It is a gorgeous day for baseball here in St. Louis. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. We'll hear from Greg Murphy and Pete Mackanin in just a little bit. Well, the debate this morning, this afternoon, last night continues with all the replays that went through the ball game that turned out to help the Cardinals and a couple times helped the Phillies, but eventually led to a Cardinals 5-4 victory. One thing that we do know, though, since baseball implemented replay, they have gotten a lot of calls right, and it has helped the game. Well,
it's helped the game, that's for sure. Now, it's delayed the game a little bit, but it's helped the game. And at the bottom line is it comes down to a key spot. You want to have the right call on the field. Last night, Tejada hits an absolute missile down the left field line. The initial call was it was a foul ball. But after a 5-minute, 1-second review, they come back and determine that it was a fair ball.
And they put Tejada at second base. Now, Mark Carlson was talking to the folks in New York. They blew up that play to really look at it. This is the next one that's replayed. Off the glove of Freddie Galvis. Fryer continues on toward home plate. Galvis's throw is there in time, but Fryer, with an exceptional slide to the back end of home plate, gets his hand in there, according to the home plate umpire, Quinn Walcott. They reviewed it, and they thought it was inconclusive either way, so they kept the call on the field, which is what they are supposed to do. Later on in the game, this is where it helps the Phils.
Well, this was an easy one. I could have called this one. This is the 9th inning line drive hit off the wall, but it's reviewable. The umpires want to know if it's going to be a home run or not, double. It hit the wall, stayed in the ballpark for a double. So, again, this was one that helped the Phillies in that situation.
Well, the Cardinals then went on to win the ball game in that inning, in the bottom of the 9th inning. So each week they send out the numbers, and you look at 59 of the plays have been confirmed. 54 have stood overturned. There have been 92 plays that have been overturned so far, which is an average of 45%. So again, it has helped the game, but there's always debate on these certain calls. And speaking of that debate, Greg Murphy had a chance earlier to sit down with Pete Mackanin, the manager of the Phils.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Yes, here with Pete Mackanin. And, well, you know, you come to the ballpark and you never know what you're going to see. Last night was a crazy night in terms of replays. And have you ever been involved in a game where replay played such a big part?
Not really. I mean, that replay on the fair foul ball took an inordinate amount of time, and I didn't think it was the right call, but they decided they saw something, and I thought it had to be definitive, and it didn't look definitive to me.
Yeah, I think that was the big question, and the reason it took so long was because it was so hard to see. It doesn't go your way, but obviously the team still has a chance to win. The bullpen comes in, and for the very first time this year, unable to close it out. How do you talk to those guys and expect them to bounce back today?
Well, you know, it was a shame that we couldn't hold on to the 4-run lead, but in that 9th inning, the only issue I had was walking the first hitter. That set up the whole tone of that 9th inning. We walked 5 guys in the game, and 3 of them scored. On the other hand, Gomez got the ground ball. If it's hit right at the shortstop or the third baseman, game over, we win. So it was a tough one.
Well, best thing about baseball is you get a chance to go back out there again and try to split this series here in St. Louis. So a little bit of a new look for your lineup today. You're going back to putting the pitcher in the 9-hole. What was the thought process with that?
Well, a little jump start. Our offense hasn't been producing. I'm trying everything I can to try to disrupt what's become normal. And, you know, other than that Howard home run, we didn't do a lot offensively. So I did it, hitting the pitcher 8th to get us going, and it worked, so I'm going to go the other way now.
And Maikel Franco gets a day off. It's been a while for him, just a chance to get him off his feet.
Yeah, he hasn't been swinging well. I mean, he's underneath the ball, and I think he's trying too hard to do too much because the offense has been sputtering. And I think he needs a day off mentally more than anything.
Ryan Howard also gets the day off. He has done yeoman's work here in St. Louis over the course of his career, but nice to have him late in the game, I would imagine, coming off the bench.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you look at the matchups, and against Garcia, I think he's 2 for 15. He's got 2 home runs and out of 15, but he struck out eight times. And I got to get Ruff going to see if he can help.
All right, Pete, we appreciate your time. Good luck today. Guys, let's send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Darren Ruff will be in the lineup today, getting ready for this afternoon's ball game against the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, the pitchers for this afternoon's game, Jaime Garcia, you heard Pete Mackanin talk about him. He's been pretty good this year. His last couple starts, he's given up 7 earned runs, but a lot of strikeouts, and he'll be opposed by Jared Eichhoff, making his 6th start. He is 1-3 with a 4.15 ERA. Well, it is Cinco de Mayo here in St. Louis. They had a burrito eating contest. The guy, the third one in from the left, he was the ringer. We'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about Yadier Molina when we come back. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Get a great deal on your favorite Toyota during the Toyota Time Sales Event. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IVX.com. Afternoon here in St. Louis, Missouri, and there is right-hander Jared Eichhoff getting himself set for this afternoon's ball game against the St. Louis Cardinals. One of the guys that Jared will have to deal with, and the Phillies have been dealing with for years, is Yadier Molina. Now, Molina last night started the game at first base. I don't think he really missed a beat starting the game at first base, but he is one of the premier catchers still defensively in Major League Baseball.
No doubt about it. He's a guy that all of a sudden you kind of change your game plan. One, he's a very smart catcher. He reads the hitters very well, but he also controls the running game. And all he does is he's smart. He knows when to do a pitch out. Doesn't matter if it's a pitch out, he has a cannon. So guys that usually run the bases usually back it off a little bit, which makes it very easy for the pitchers knowing that they have a catcher who can throw almost as good as Pudge Rodriguez. Oh, and by the way, last night, his first start of the year, throws some leather right there, so he's been playing pretty good first base. He's a very good catcher. You can see his numbers, 1,491 games, 100 home runs, but he's a doubles machine with 277.
8 consecutive Gold Gloves this year. He's throwing out 50% of the runners who have tried to steal, and he's hitting well over 300 for his career against the Phils. All right, we're ready to go. Well, almost ready. When we return, we'll go to the Comcast Sportsnet studios before lineups and first pitch. We get set for the finale of this 4-game series. Jaime Garcia is out on the mound, warming up, getting ready for the start against the Philadelphia Phillies. Pete Mackanin, soaking it in the sun, has changed up his lineup for today. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Herrera leads it off in center, then Galvis. Andres Blanco will be at third base, batting third. Darren Ruff bats cleanup. Cameron Rupp hits fifth, Cesar Hernandez sixth. In the bottom third of Goodell, Borges, and the pitcher is moved back to the 9 hole. That may not be permanent, according to Pete Mackanin. And they will face Jaime Garcia, the left-hander, who is 29 years old, 1-2 on the year, a 3.73 ERA. Matt, a lot of strikeouts. He's getting more strikeouts this year, but he's also walking his fair share of batters.
Yeah, he's getting some strikeouts. The walks is the issue, I think, because his baseball is moving out of the zone late. He does have a lot of late movement on his fastball. Take a look at the scouting report. He's a 4-pitch pitcher. Fastball change, curve, slider slash cutter. You can see his career 2-4 with a 3.27 ERA versus the Phillies in his career.
Odubel Herrera is ready to go. Odubel was 5 for 11 in this series with 2 runs scored. He's also homered. He homered in last night's game. That gave the Phillies a 4-0 lead, but that was all as far as the runs go for them. Which, as Pete told us before the ball game today, that was one of the bigger issues last night. That and the free passes his pitchers gave up. The fact that the offense didn't score after the 4th run. Odubel takes the first pitch, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. We're underway from St. Louis. Herrera hitting .319, 3 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Fouls it away. He's walked only 1 time in this series, which I guess is a big storyline because he was walking so often coming into this series. But he certainly has been more aggressive, Matt.
He's been more aggressive, and I think his walks have gone down due to the fact that he did walk a lot, but he was missing pitches to hit. Now he's squaring those pitches up and he's getting base hits on them.
Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
You know, we've seen him have at bats where he's seen 6, 7, 8 pitches, and now probably out of that at bat he's had 2, maybe 3 good pitches to hit, and he's fouled them off. Now he's got a timing back. He's hitting well. He's feeling good at home plate. He's getting some more knocks.
Fights it off, and it's 2-2. That may have been ball 3 actually that he just swung at. Garcia is 29 years old, a former 22nd round draft pick in 2005 by the Cardinals. He's dealt with shoulder issues during the course of his career. He had back-to-back seasons in which he won 13 games, but then the shoulder issues crept in. Outside, 3-2. Well, he's still seeing his fair share of pitches.
That he is. Still chatting away. Having a great conversation with Yadier Molina.
Swing and a miss. Got him with a breaking ball. 1 away here in the first. All right, Matt, time now for the Nissan keys to the game.
All about pitching today. I'll start with Eichhoff. He has to spot his fastball much better than the last few starts. League is hitting .369 versus his fastball. And versus Garcia, get the ball up in the zone. He relies on living on the corners, using that changeup, looking for the ground ball or the strikeout. So get him up in the zone.
Well, they had him up in the zone on that Herrera at bat. He just missed it. That was actually a pretty good pitch, right?
Yep.
Here's Galvis, who takes a strike. It's 0-1. Freddie is 2 for 12 in the series. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Audrey Ballier of Boyertown. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Then Audrey will win $100. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Galvis. He'll be followed by Andres Blanco. Galvis is the only Philly starter which is somewhat surprising, that has faced Jaime Garcia. Burris has, Howard has, Ruiz has, but none of those three are in the lineup. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And it's fouled away. Umpires in today's ball game. Mark Carlson was working on his safe call a lot last night when it came to replay. He's the crew chief. Mike DeMuro is over at first. Ryan Blakeney is at second, and Quinn Walcott is around at third. Outside, 2-2.
Seemed like every play last night, the fielders were being held on the field, just double checking on certain things.
Fouled back to the screen. There was a lot of that. You're right. There were a couple times where Mike Matheny stepped up to the top step of the dugout to try to hold the defense, and then decided differently. And you know, some of them were close plays. Other ones were really not close.
I'd do it every play today. You hit a ground ball, you're up by 30 feet at first. I'd step up top of the step, hold him to wait for a second. Every play today. Why not? You might as well. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the instant replay.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Galvis. And it's low, 3-2. Maybe they should put another word in front of the replay part of it.
Yeah. Just replay.
Back-to-back 3-ball, 2-strike counts. First 2 batters of the game. This will be the 15th pitch from Jaime Garcia. Out towards shortstop. Nice comfortable hop for Ruben Tejada. Low throw gets away from Adams, and Freddie Galvis will be safe at first. Error shortstop on that one. And a base runner for the Phillies with 1 man down here in the first.
Routine ground ball, the old Sunday hop. It's kind of nonchalant to throw. Actually, Adams really didn't go out to get that ball. Hit a very short stride at first base. I believe if he would have strided out a little farther, he probably would have caught that ball in the air. Oh, absolutely would have.
Yeah. So runner at first with 1 man down. Andres Blanco starting over at third base. Swing and a miss. Pete just said it was time to give Maikel Franco a day off. He said there's habits that Maikel has picked up recently. He's 1 for 10 in this series and 0 for his last 6. These habits that he's picked up recently that he's got to break himself of. And they hit a little bit in the cage today. Started working on it. Ball is rolled foul, and it's 0-2.
You mean the habit of he's trying to hit every single pitch out of the ballpark?
Well, that is part of it. And in
down
doing
towards
so,
left field?
Yeah, and doing so is pulling off just what you talked about.
That's what it is.
But he will be in the lineup tomorrow when the Phillies head to Miami to take on the Marlins.
And remember, Tom, you never get a day off in the big leagues.
It's a day of work.
You get benched.
Swing and a miss. Blanco is struck out. 2 strikeouts for Garcia. All right, I got to be harsher with my words, my descriptions.
Of course.
El Bencho. To away, and here is Darren Ruff. Bubble Herrera is still trying to figure out his swing there, even though he was finished hitting a couple batters ago. Darren is 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts in the series so far. Hitting a .163. Ryan Howard gets today off. Pete told Murph, if you heard the open, that he's got a couple hits against Garcia, the home runs, but figured he'd give him today off with a left-hander out on the mound. 8 strikeouts. There are some numbers that are up for Garcia this year, positive numbers. His strikeouts per 9 innings are up about 4. He's averaging about 10 strikeouts, a little more than 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, but he's also averaging 2 more walks per 9 innings than normal, which is why his base runners per inning are higher. Up the third base line, Garcia off the mound, has it, fires to first, and it's in time to get Darren Ruff, who spins to the ground and is slow to get himself moving as he made contact with Matt Adams. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. There was 1 Cardinals error. On to the bottom of the first. Phillies nothing. Cardinals coming up. Mike Matheny's got his lineup card out, so let's take a look at it. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. It'll be Carpenter, Piscotty, and Brandon Moss. Matt Adams, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Yadier Molina hits 5th. Jeremy Hazelbaker, the center fielder, bats 6th. Colton Wong 7th. Ruben Tejada, the shortstop, bats 8th. Batting 9th and pitching, he's a pretty good hitter, Jaime Garcia. And they will face right-hander Jared Eichhoff, the 25-year-old from Evansville, Indiana. Comes in with a record of 1-3, an ERA of 4.15. Lots of strikeouts. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. He's had a couple of innings that have caused him some speed bumps during his first few starts. Didn't pitch badly those last time outs.
No, he didn't. And he's got. I like it, the stuff he throws out there. You can see the scouting report. It's not really overpowering. 90.7 on his fastball for an average. Tremendous curveball. I love his curveball. I still want to see the slider. I love the slider on because I just think it makes that fastball and the curveball that much better.
Facing Matt Carpenter to start it off. Carpenter 1 for 9 in this series. Played a little first base in last night's game. Takes high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Hit sharply past the diving Darren Ruff down the right field line. It was not touched by a fan. Carpenter will get to second either way. And he's there with a stand-up double. So that's his 6th double of the year. And quickly, a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the first.
Nice easy swing. Just out of the reach of Darren at first base. Good effort.
So the Cardinals have a runner in scoring position. And Steve Piscotty, who was 6 for 14 in this series, he had a good night last night for the Cardinals. In fact, picked up 3 hits in his last 3 at-bats and a couple of RBIs. Overall hitting .303. Four homers and 18 runs batted in. Fastball in the inside corner. It's 0-1.
Now, when I was talking about Eichhoff with his pitch selection, his fastball, his curveball, His slider, he changed, throws it once in a blue moon. Especially with 2 strikes.
Off the end of the bat, they've got Carpenter caught between second and third, and they throw him out and record the double play. What a play by the Phillies defense. Jared Eichhoff starts the untraditional 1-6-3 double play. Oh, that was outstanding.
I mean, this happened quick. Comebacker does a nice job. Now, Piscotty doesn't run very hard to first base. He assumes that he's going to turn and throw him out at first base. See, I was just jogging down the line.
You're right about that, Matt.
Now Freddie Galvis gets the ball, realizes that, and there he's all of a sudden he takes the helmet off and he knows he made a mistake.
Brandon Moss is now the batter, and Moss hits one foul. Now, the one thing about Jared Eichhoff that we've seen in the short time that he has been with the club, his defense is very good on the mound, and in particular his throws. That feed to Galvis was perfect. 1 ball and 1 strike. Outside, it's 2-1. Brandon Moss 2 for 7 in the series.
And my point about having Eichhoff throw more sliders is that he's becoming a 2-pitch pitcher.
That ball is crushed deep to right field, and the Cardinals will have a 1-0 lead. That ball was, I mean, that was nailed by Moss. That's his 7th home run of the season. Well, that double play is even bigger now.
This is well struck fastball in. The dreaded oh-no zone. Powerful swing, head down. The facade in the second deck.
Hit the facade in the second deck. 0-1 to Matt Adams. Right to the left of that mercy sign. That's exactly what that ball sounded like when it went out there. Asked for a little mercy. Outside, 1-1. Adams has homered in this game. In this series, he thought he had homered a second time last night with a ball that hit the top of the wall in right center field coming off the bench. You can talk about it when you hit it that far.
You do have bragging rights right now. Changeup.
Yeah, that was a changeup that floated out of the zone. That home run, by the way, for the Cardinals, their 6th home run of the series. 6 home runs and 7 doubles in the series. A roller left side. So much for the shift for Adams. And he will slowly get up the first base line. 3rd hit of the inning for St. Louis. And Yadier Molina's coming up.
It's funny, I was watching it before the game yesterday on the TV here. They had the they pick one player, they profile one player and show highlights, and yesterday it was Adams. He hit a lot of baseballs just like that. Big swing to right, go to left. Hit the little squibber down the left field line.
Think they'll change the shift idea against him?
No. I mean,
he butted the first day of the series. Yadier Molina over to 3rd, and Blanco gobbles it up, and the side is retired. 5-4 on the putout at second base. But the Cardinals do strike first. A home run by Brandon Moss against Jared Eichhoff. We'll go to the second. It's 1-0 St. Louis.
St. Louis Cardinals with a 1-0 lead, and Jaime Garcia back out on the hill for the Cardinals. And you know, you talked a little bit, Tom, about Jaime Garcia and just how good he's been, and he's quietly over his career been one of the best left-handers in baseball. When you take a look at his ERA in terms of left-handers over the last 2 seasons, he's second to Clayton Kershaw, and the part of the reason, well, it's because of his ground ball percentage. Gets a lot of ground balls, second only to Brett Anderson over the last 2 seasons, 61% plus getting ground balls. So that's what he's able to do. You also mentioned, Tom, that the strikeouts are up. You put those two things together, you're going to have a lot of success. But Jaime Garcia, who probably doesn't get talked about among some of the best left-handers in baseball, like Keuchel and Bumgarner and Price, guys like that, but certainly his numbers are right there with him.
Yeah, he has scuffled a little bit the last couple of starts, and it's partly because, as we talked about, the walks that he's issued. He's allowed 7 earned runs in his last 11 1/3. But when he's down, he is tough. Cameron Rupp leads it off, and there is a ground ball. So that's the 3rd ground ball already. Second out that's been recorded with one. And one away for Cesar Hernandez. Garcia had shoulder problems a couple years ago, and they weren't sure if he'd be able to get himself back to where he was when he won 13 games in back-to-back seasons. But he seems to be fully healed from his shoulder issues.
Velocity is good.
Yeah.
Has a good bite on a slider. We know he has a very good changeup.
Cesar takes a strike. It's 0-1. Cesar is 3 for 10 in the series. Another ground ball flagged down by Garcia. And there are 2 outs. Did you see that play yesterday with John Lester when he had a ball come back to the mound? You know, he threw the play, he had to throw the whole glove over to first base because the ball got stuck in his glove. It's the second time it's happened to him.
Fastball in, fastball middle of the plate down. Again, one of those keys. He gets a lot of ground balls, like Murph just said. So in order to get away from hitting the ground balls, you just look up a little bit. You have to elevate that pitch.
Tyler Goodell getting a chance to start once again. No balls and 1 strike to Goodell.
You know how we always say the phrase easier said than done?
Yeah.
That one's not easier said than done. That one's easy to do. Just got to bring up your strike zone a little bit.
There's another ground ball slowly hit to the left side, bobbled for a moment by Carpenter, And Goodell feels like he's safe. No reaction for Mickey Morandini, but that's a 6-pitch inning for Jaime Garcia. 5-3 on the putout. We'll head to the bottom of the second in a 1-0 game.
On Broad Crew, will Sam Bradford ever return to the Eagles?
Ever. Tomorrow, we will have the latest on the stalemate with writer Mark Eckel.
Plus, countdown to Rio. Soccer superstar Carly Lloyd joins us in studio. See you at 6 on the Comcast Network.
92 days from Rio, where I don't know if they're celebrating Cinco de Mayo, but we certainly are here in the States. Cinco de Mayo is the prelude to Seis de Mayo, which of course is the celebration of Larry Anderson's birthday tomorrow. As we go to the bottom of the second, Jeremy Hazelbaker will lead it off, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Hazelbaker comes into this ballgame hitting .308 with 5 home runs and 13 RBIs. When Tommy Pham went down with his injury, that ball is pulled foul. It was a wonder about who they would have to replace him. Well, Hazelbaker got the first chance to replace him on the roster and didn't look back. He's a guy that at one point the Cardinals thought to have as a big prospect in their organization, but was kind of fizzling to a certain extent. But he has grabbed this opportunity. He's running with it. Takes inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Out to second base. And Cesar Hernandez makes the play for the first out. Saturday, May 14th, when the Phillies take on the Cincinnati Reds, it's Teva Respiratory Night, a free Phillies cap to all fans. It's all part of the Reds Weekend Series. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Colton Wong will be the batter. Wong is 1 for 6 in the series, and you know, Pete brought up a good point before the ball game today, and it surrounded Colton Wong as that curveball is outside. Wong led off the 9th inning last night with a walk, and you know, Pete said, listen, we walked too many guys last night, and in reality they did. He said we can't do that in this series. They've walked 10. You know, Pete was trying to be diplomatic because, you know, so many people were talking about, you know, this play or that play, and he said, you know, we can talk all we want about replay and all the issues that didn't go the Phillies' way last night, but we only scored 4 runs and had a 4-0 lead. He goes, and we gave out a lot of free passes because we cannot do that if we're going to win ball games.
Yeah, it's not a good mixture to have right there. Free passes, not adding on after the big home run by Ryan Howard to make it 3-0.
Over to the right side, a foul ball, and it remains 1-2.
Wong is only 1 for 6 in the series, that being a home run. He has probably seen 40 pitches, 45 pitches. Might not be getting a lot of hits, but he's seen a lot of pitches and making the pitcher work on the mound.
Ball sharply hit to first. And there are 2 outs. Ruben Tejada's coming up. Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Ruben Tejada has faced Jared Eickhoff before with the Mets last year. He's 0 for 3 against him. Tejada hitting .211 on the year. .286 lifetime hitter against the Phils. Popped foul over the first base dugout. Well, last night it was Ruben Tejada's ball down the left field line that stirred a little bit of controversy, of course. There it is. It was ruled a foul ball initially by Ryan Blakeney, the third base umpire. Today we were told this is the shot that MLB used to overturn it, as it was blown up a ton of times. Now that shot right there does look like the ball hits the line. But that is the shot that ultimately led Mark Carlson to hear from New York that Tejada would get a double. One hopper to third. Andres Blanco will take care of Ruben Tejada. No controversy there. A 5-3 in the books. A 1-2-3 second inning for Jared Eickhoff. We'll head to the third and 1-0 St. Louis. The fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, the question is, Matt, what 2 Cardinals catchers have won the Gold Glove Award 3 or more times? 3 or more times. We gave you a few hints already, including one right there.
One in the open?
Yeah. Answer will be revealed a little later. Peter Borges will lead it off. Borges, Eickhoff, and then the top of the order, as the Phillies lineup is back to what would be deemed normal in Major League Baseball, with the position player batting 8th and the pitcher batting 9th. Pete said that he did it originally because he wanted to shake things up, and now he's moving it back because he's trying to stir things up. said, well, will you move the pitcher back to the number 8 spot? He goes, well, we'll see. He goes, if we hit with the way it's set up now, he goes, no, I'm not going to move it back. He goes, but if I feel like we need to shake it up again, I might. No balls and 1 strike to Borges. Off the plate, over to third. Carpenter. Boy, I'm glad Murph did that story on the ground ball rate, because Garcia's really backing that up so far in the first 2 and a third. 6 ground balls, 5 outs. The other one was an error by the shortstop. Pop foul by Eichhoff, who actually has swung the bat well in his few opportunities at the plate. He's hitting a cool 300. He's got some friends and family who are here in town watching this game. Evansville, which is where Jared is from, is about 2 hours and 45 minutes due east, a little southeast from here. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Eichhoff. Out front. 3rd strikeout for Jaime Garcia. Wistar Institute Melanoma Awareness Day, presented by Independence Blue Cross and Citizens Bank, will be Sunday, May 22nd, when the Phillies take on the Braves. A free Phillies visor, there it is right there, to all fans. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com.
Well, any issues that Jaime's had not being able to throw strikes or walking hitters? No issues today. He's only thrown 8 balls out of the zone today. 25 strikes, 8 balls.
Yeah, last time out 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 6 in the third. Last 2 times out he has 6 walks and 7 earned runs at 11 in the third. No balls and 1 strike to Odubel. He struck out his first time up. Yeah, fouled that one off his foot,
thigh,
leg, somewhere.
Back thigh.
How do you do that?
Pretty good chance we're going to see it here in a second. Means you're very late on your swing. Usually coming off a cutter from a right-hander or a 2-seamer from a left-hander as a left-handed hitter. Be interested to see the second time through the order. What I've seen so far, it looks like Jaime hides the ball very well. Because we're getting some really late swings.
His hands are tucked close to his body the entire time, and then as he spins a little bit, the ball is back. Since the first inning, he has thrown 15 consecutive strikes. Mixing a pitch out of the strike zone every once in a while.
He's thrown 3, but
just swing it at him.
He swung at him. Make that 4. That's only this at bat alone.
Yeah, Odubel staying alive.
Now he wants his glasses back.
Odubel just tossed the glasses aside because the sun went back behind a cloud. Freddie Galvis picked it up. Now the sun popped back out again. 61 degrees today. Cool day here in St. Louis. Odubel staying alive, and he fouls another one off. Garcia was born in Mexico and then grew up in Mission, Texas, which is right across the border. Swing and a miss. He got Odubel for the second time. 4 strikeouts for Garcia, and he retires the Phillies in order. He's retired 8 straight hitters. We'll head to the bottom of the third. It's 1-0 Cardinals. Is brought to you by T-Mobile. Get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE since 2015. Buy your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Well, the Arch here in St. Louis. There's a lot of construction going on around the Arch area here in St. Louis. In fact, there's a lot of construction going on everywhere in St. Louis. They're making it easier for folks to head down from downtown to the Arch. Jaime Garcia breaks his bat and fouls the first pitch down toward the sombrero down the right field line. I guess that guy caught it. I don't know if he caught it or if he caught it off somebody else. There's the sombrero. One of them. Curveball, and it's 0-2. You like the mix so far, Matt? Fastball, curveball?
I do. I think he's actually thrown a couple of sliders as well. Which again comes back to the point I wanted to say before. Moss crushed that ball to first in the first inning, but just don't become a 2-pitch pitcher, because all of a sudden a hitter, 90% of the time, you're getting either that, a heater, or a curveball.
The major league hitters are just too good that you can't fool them with 2 all the time.
Well, they really are, and we saw in the opener, we saw on the scouting report, the average is just under 91 with his fastball. Different story if you're throwing 97, 96 with that Uncle Charlie. But we saw his first major league start. He threw sliders, and it's a very good slider.
And Bob McClure is a big fan of Eichhoff's makeup, but he's also a big fan of his curveball. As Bob said, he goes, I threw a curveball most of the time when I was pitching, but Bob also had a pretty good heater.
Yeah. Look, the curveball, it's an old-fashioned curveball, almost like a 12-6. Hitters give up on it a lot because when it leaves your hand, you recognize, you think it's going to be high.
Line drive base hit for Carpenter, who's having no trouble picking up Eichhoff. He's 2 for 2, and he's aboard with 1 away. That was a pitch that was just left up in the zone.
Yeah, this is an area where you don't want to throw a hanging changeup. It's an 84-mile-an-hour changeup up in the zone. I don't mind the fact that he threw a changeup. You know, at least he's trying to work on that pitch as well. That's the 3rd changeup he's thrown.
Here's Piscotty, who went back to the box his first time up.
I like the fact that Eichhoff, you know, I'm throwing some numbers out. He's throwing a slider 6% this year. He's never given up a hit off a slider.
He wanted that pitch right there.
He should get it. It's a good pitch.
Out towards shortstop, backhanded by Galvis. He knocked it down, gets the lead runner, and not able to turn 2. He did a good job, though, of staying with that ball. It was hit sharp enough that he had a chance to get Carpenter. So a second fielder's choice for Piscotty, and there are 2 outs.
Good try by Freddie Galvis. This ball's hit very hard. Knocks it down, stays with it, makes a strong throw. And this time, Piscotty ran to first base. I like his first at bat where he jogged and get that written up 1-6 tag 3 double play.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. He throws him a first pitch curveball. I do believe that Freddie's upset with himself, though, that he didn't feel that ball cleanly to turn the double play. Keeps looking at his glove and pounding it out shortstop. I wonder if that first pitch was a slider. Curveball there at 74. First pitch was 79. Slider would have been a little more velocity than that.
A little harder.
Different spin, though. Fly ball left field. Long run for Galvis out toward the line and makes the catch. And that'll do it for the Cardinals here in the 3rd. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We are through our first 3. We'll go to the 4th. It's 1-0. To you by Toyota. Let's go places. Let's go Phillies. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Cardinals on top. Phillies are still looking for their first hit. They've had one base runner. It was Galvis who reached on an error his first time up. It'll be Galvis, Andres Blanco, Darren Ruff. By the way, we have an addendum to the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question. There are 3 Cardinals catchers with 3 or more Gold Gloves. 3.
Can we get a new question? I'm going to challenge that one.
I have to admit, as that ball is hit out toward left field by Galvis, and a running grab by Brandon Moss. First ball hit to the outfield. Looked like it was going to be the first hit of the day, but it turns out to be an out to start this 4th inning. I think you're going to have trouble, by the way, of getting the 3rd one. Just so you know.
Nice line drive by Freddie. Moss had a very good jump in left field. That ball hung up there just a little long. Looks like it got jammed a little bit.
Sounded like he broke his bat. We've had a lot of broken bats already today. Andres Blanco, the batter, and he takes up high. 1 ball and no strikes.
So this 3rd guy, how far am I going back?
You're going to go back just before.
60s?
No. Just before you started playing, and then I think he was still playing a little bit once you made it to the big leagues. I don't know if that helps you at all. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Blanco struck out his first time up, and he breaks his bat. We got firewood everywhere. 2 outs. Time now for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Lights. And our cold hard fact, the home run rate, Jaime Garcia and Adam Wainwright, they're not giving up many. So it's 1 home run every 14 innings for Garcia. Let's go back, Matt, and see if he's due at all. We've got to be getting to the 14th at bat.
He gave a home run up his last start to the Nats.
All right, so we're almost there.
Versus, I can't tell you who it was.
Good job using versus, though, instead of verse. There's a strike. It's 0-1. Darren Ruff grounded out his first time up. Little soft ground ball to the left of the mound, or the left of home plate, I should say. One ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball toward the hole. Tejada was shaded that way. And another easy inning for Jaime Garcia. He has not allowed a hit through the first 4 innings. The home run he gave up to the Nationals was by Jason Worth. So hopefully he's due real soon, at least give up a base hit. add a little color. Avery neon shipping labels ensure all your shipping messages get noticed. Perfect for any priority message. And WB Mason delivers the same day when you order by 11:30. Local service, personalized. Who but WB Mason? Matt Adams will lead it off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Adams single to the left side, right where Galvis is standing at this moment. Now he grounds one to the right side. Polanco is up with it. 5-3 in the books, and one quick out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Yadier Molina will come up. 9 groundouts, 1 flyout, no strikeouts yet for Jared Eickhoff. Eickhoff had 32 strikeouts and 30 in the 3rd coming in. Part of that is that the Cardinals are not letting the count get too deep where they'll get that curveball with 2 strikes. At least it seems that way.
Well, it seems like both teams are in somewhat of a hurry. Swing early, swing often, which you see a lot with when you're facing guys. There's a slider right there. When you're facing guys that 1 throw strikes, but 2 have a put-out pitch. You do not want to get 2 strikes on both guys.
That's exactly right. I think that's on any level, Matt, too, right?
Yep.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Throw him another slider there?
I believe so.
Liner out toward left field. Going back on it is Goodell, and he can't get it. It's off his glove. Yadier Molina will pull into second base with his 8th double of the year.
Cameron called for a fastball inside. Pretty sure he threw it right where he wanted to throw it. Nice job of Molina. We talked about his batting average with 2 strikes on him. You see Cameron giving that big target. He threw right where he wanted to.
Molina putting that pad on to protect that that sore wrist. And here is Hazelbaker, who grounded out his first time up. Spins back towards second. Molina was only off the bag a couple steps. Tyler Goodell got awfully close to making another fantastic catch.
He was actually shading opposite field, so he was a couple steps straight. You know, you have the straight up. He was a couple steps on the opposite side. He went a long way for that ball.
And it wasn't wrong the way they had him shaded, because Yadier Molina a lot of times will go the other way,
especially with 2 strikes.
Yeah. Dirt, and it's 2-0. 5 hits allowed for Jared Eickhoff.
Always have to be careful with this pitch. 3-0.
And he walks him on 4 pitches. And Colton Wong's coming up. Phillies Festival is scheduled for Thursday, June 9th. Autographs from the 2016 players and coaches, of course, and a lot of games, including every role's a winner. Philly Fanatic photo booth. Phillies have raised $16 million in the 32 years that they've been working with the ALS Association, the Greater Philadelphia chapter. Tickets are on sale now by going to Phillies.com, or you can always call 215-463-1000. Colton Wong grounded out sharply to Darren Ruff at first. Ruff is standing in that same spot that he was when Wong grounded out back in the second inning. Cardinals have maintained that batting average with runners in scoring position above 300, which is well above the average. That number isn't usually deceptive at all as far as the better teams go, but the Braves are on that list as number 3, the 3rd highest batting average with runners in scoring position. Well, that's remarkable. I guess they're giving up a lot more runs. They probably have less attempts than the other teams. Low, 1-2.
So in other words, Atlanta's not really complaining about their timely hitting. It's more about their pitching.
They're probably complaining a little bit about their timely hitting. Oh. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Look at Bob. Bless you, Matt.
Cough button didn't work. I feel much better.
Sense of relief that you got rid of that. There's Molina at second base. He doubled. Hazelbaker's at first. He reached on a walk. Koff trying to get through this 4th inning. Curveball, and it is hooked foul into the seats down the right field line.
Again, another long at bat.
Yeah.
This being the 7th pitch coming up.
Back toward the middle. Galvis around the second base bag, brushes across and then throws to first. That is a much needed double play. And the side is retired. Is Mike Matheny asking him to hold the defense? This is a pretty clean double play. There's really nothing to hold. We'll go to the 5th. Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Cameron Rupp will lead it off against Jaime Garcia. Garcia's not allowed a hit yet, but he's gotten a lot of ground balls. 7 ground ball outs, 8 ground balls overall. Cameron Rupp out front. It's 0-1. Cardinals have made a change out in center field, it looks like. That's Randall Grichuk who will take over. So Hazelbaker is out. All right, so it's actually Matt Adams who's out. We'll get to the changes because Moss, who was in left field, is now at first base. Chopper back toward the middle, and the first hit of the day for the Phils comes in the 5th inning. Cameron Rupp hits one back toward the middle, a leadoff single. So there's Moss. He's at first base. Matt Adams did something earlier in the game, so he's lifted. Hazelbaker moves from center field to left field. Now we got it straight. I don't think Mark Carlson even realized it. As Cameron Rupp was stepping in, he took his mask off and called time and then pointed out to the outfield. So Grichuk's in center, Hazelbaker's in left, and Moss is over at first. You got that, Matt?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good to go.
Here's Cesar Hernandez. He takes up high. It's 1-0. Adams did something in his first at bat when he went to first base. It looked like he was having a problem with something, but he stayed in the game. Inside, 2-0.
I wonder if the little collision between Darren and him in the first inning
could have. Yeah, that could have done it too. Cesar lifts it in the air to shallow right field. Scotty is there. There's one out. Only the second fly ball. This is Adams earlier on that ball over to the third base side. And when he got back to first base, he never took a big turn around the back. When he got to first base, he was telling Bill Miller something. Something right when he swung. Tyler Goodell grounded out his first time up. And he grounds that one toward the on-deck circle. Jaime Garcia, when he was pitching in high school in Mission, Texas, was first scouted by Joe Almaraz, who is the brother of Johnny Almaraz, the Phillies director of amateur scouting. Joe is a scout and also has managed in the minor leagues. That ball is popped up foul into the seats and out of play. And that's where he first got on the radar of major league scouting directors. And eventually was selected in the 22nd round by the Cardinals. No balls, 2 strikes to Goodell.
It's going to be awful hard for Goodell to have his timing set down right now.
There's the line drive into right center field. That'll be a base hit. Cameron Rupp around second, heading to third, and he will get there. And the Phils now have 2 hits in this inning. Runners on first and third with 1 man down. And I was thinking about that same thing, Matt, because he has a little bit of movement in that bat and he hasn't played a whole lot. But right there, his timing was pretty good.
And we've seen in spring training when his timing is on time, it's very good. And you can see he has a flat bat, and all of a sudden it stands up straight. Key for him is, and that's such a very good swing, but the key for him is to get that barrel up straight as quick as possible. Because the last thing you want to do is have that barrel start going up, the pitch is on top of you, next thing you know, everything just, it's a drop and drive swing, and everything collapses.
That one is shot the other way, caught by Moss, who then tags out Tyler Goodell, and the side is retired. Right place, right time for Brandon Moss. And the double play ends the top of the 5th with the Phillies with a runner over at third base, down 1-0. Citizens Bank minor league reports. And Lehigh Valley lost to Pawtucket last night, but Darnell Sweeney had 2 hits, a double, a walk, and a run score. Reading defeated New Hampshire 4-3 yesterday, and then won again today 4-2. Angelo Mora had 3 hits yesterday. Today, Reese Hoskins and Casey Cerna and Dylan Cousins all had 2 hits. Clearwater was postponed because of rain against Tampa, and the Blue Claws lost to Asheville 2-0. Wilson Garcia had a double in that loss. Nice day to watch a little baseball here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals lead at 1-0 on a home run by Brandon Moss, which, by the way, they've estimated here at the ballpark that it went 462 feet, which is the longest in 4th longest in stadium history, but the longest by a left-handed batter. Now the Cardinals have said it went 462. Statcast, which does gauge these things, said it went 438. Whichever way it went far, and it's the only run of the game. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tejada. Matt, that went 462. On this date, you hit a 461-foot home run down in Houston. So gauge this. I mean, let's have a little Matt Stairs pride. Was that one that was hit by Brandon Moss as far as yours? And be honest about it.
But it's different. I still think mine went farther than 461. But anyway, it's different because I hit mine to center field, straightaway center field, in Minute Maid.
Onto the train track.
Onto the train track, straightaway center. So pulling a home run and going to center field, I guess hitting the ball pull side at 461 or 463 or
462.
I knew I missed it.
You were right around it.
It's still impressive hitting the ball that far to right field. But mine was prettier. And mine was in the middle of an 0 for 20 slump.
And yours went on top of some train tracks. This only hit the facade. Outside 3-2 to Tejada, who grounded out his only time up.
You know, there's a bat you remember. There's a bat that you want to forget. That's one I remembered. 0 for 20, 2-0 pitch from Wade Miller. I was with the Pirates at the time.
Line drive off the glove of Eichhoff. It's directed toward first, and Eichhoff will just flip it to rough covering. One away. Jaime Garcia's coming up.
Tom, you mentioned earlier about Eichhoff on the mound. For a big man, he's a very good athlete. You talked about making strong throws to first or pickoff plays or starting a double play like he did earlier. But the fact that when he fields his position very well. You know, he's not really off balance when he throws the pitch. He squares up to the hitter. I mean, that ball right there was smoked back up the middle.
Sure was. Garcia smokes one out towards second, but it's caught by Cesar Hernandez. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Matt Carpenter's coming up. Well, things that make you smile. Cricket, of course, providing some things that make you smile. And Cinco de Mayo will make you smile, and so will that burrito. Make you smile now, maybe not make you smile later. Sombreros all around the ballpark. And mustachios. Doubleheader today for the St. Louis fans. They got baseball today and then maybe a dinner before they got hockey tonight. I feel like we live with the Dallas Stars because they're in the same hotel. They've been here the whole week.
And I haven't seen one guy.
Really?
Nope. Not one.
I don't know who they are. You know it better than I do. That one is pulled deep to right field. Borges to the track and has room, makes the catch.
They're the one with no teeth.
I was going to say, you and I are right across the hall from each other, and there's one that is right next to you. I don't know who he is, but you missed him. Blue Cross Philly of the Week has enjoyed the first month of the 2016 season. Mikel's bat has connected with consistency and done so with eye-opening power as expected when he arrived at the major league level. In addition to the bat, the glove has been quite impressive itself over at the hot corner. Quick on his feet, Franco rarely lets a ball get by, and he can make throws from wherever he lands. And his early season performance is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Mikel Franco has the afternoon off. I'm sure we'll see him later on as a pinch hitter. Phillies have Franco and Ryan Howard off the bench if need be. They trail at 1-0 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Jared Eichhoff will lead it off. Eichhoff struck out his only time up. Phillies had a chance to do some damage in the last inning, but a line drive double play off the bat of Peter Borges ended a 1st and 3rd threat. 1 ball and no strikes to Eichhoff.
The Phillies ran into some tough luck that last inning, like you mentioned. The first and third situation, Peter Borges trying to hit that hole at first base. Hit the line drive to the first baseman, a quick tag.
Matt Carpenter backs up on that chopper, and Eichhoff is retired for the first out here in the 6th inning. All right, it's time now for our Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. Matt, what 3 Cardinals catchers have won Gold Glove awards 3 or more times?
Well, I got Matheny.
Matheny is correct. He had 3.
Molina.
Yep.
And TBA. No idea. See, we should have stuck at 2. Should have said 2 out of 3. Name 2 out of 3 guys.
Let me see if I can find a hint for you on this one. Oh, it was just up there. That was your hint. Tom Pagnozzi, 3. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
Congratulations, Sang. That's the first stump of the year.
Odubel takes inside. It's 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. He's run a couple of deep counts. I don't know if he's really seeing Garcia that well. He struck out twice.
He's not seeing him well. He's hitting off his front foot, which means he's attacking Garcia way too hard.
Broke his bat. A ground ball softly to the right side. The bat goes out to shallow right center field. 4-3 on the put out. 2 away.
This has been an expensive game so far with bats.
It sure has.
You can just see his reaction. He's getting his foot down there so early. And you know you get jammed really bad when the barrel goes 40 feet past the ball. Trust me, I've been there before. It's not a good feeling when you're not picking up the ball out of the hand of a pitcher.
I would think you become so defensive.
You do. You know, and there's a few ways. I mean, I'm a big fan of wider stance. If you're, 1 is your timing's off, or 2, you're not picking up the pitch very well, just go to a wider stance and cut out all the movement that you can.
That'll be back to the seats and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike to Galvis, who is 0 for 2. He reached on an error and then flied out to left.
Because going to a wider stance or going to a less movement, what it does is that you start recognizing the pitches, and all you have to do is use your hands. Use your forearms and hands to swing. And that's an easy, and it's a simple way, and it's an easy way to break down timing-wise.
That's down the right field line, and it will go foul into the seats. And Odubel, watching him, and we've seen him cut down on his leg kick, spread. He can do that.
Oh, absolutely.
He can spread out.
Sure. I mean, he's got the good enough hands. Good eye-hand coordination. He has quick wrist, strong hands. He doesn't need to generate all that power with that big leg kick if his timing's off. As a hitter right there, I would absolutely love to be standing in that batter's box. As soon as the pitch was being thrown, the shortstop moves to his right, telling me it's an off-speed pitch. A lot of times as hitters, you can look at the middle infielders, and if they see they're looking in for the signs, if they get an off-speed pitch, they'll kind of cheat it a little bit to the pull side. But the problem is they move so early. As a hitter, you recognize it. You can see them moving.
That one's out toward right center field. And Grichuk is able to track it down. The Phillies are retired here in the 6th inning. They go down in order. We've played 5.5 in St. Louis. Both pitchers have done a heck of a job. Eichhoff goes back to work when we return. you by Toyota. Get a great deal on your favorite Toyota during the Toyota Time Sales Event. Toyota, let's go places. Buy McDonald's. Jumpstart your morning with a hot or iced McCafe coffee. Now starting at just $1. And buy your local Ford stores. Bottom of the 6th inning. Cardinals fans have a reason to be dancing. They've won 2 of 3. They lead this one 1-0. And Stephen Piscotty will lead it off. The only run today has been a home run by the guy on deck, Brandon Moss. Piscotty has grounded out once, reached on a fielder's choice his second time. I have to say, I don't think Eichhoff has his best curveball today.
I would agree with you.
There's a liner out to left field, and Goodell will make the catch.
It doesn't have that snap bite. It's kind of a rolling curveball today.
Brandon Moss homered his first time up. And he's also popped out down the left field line to Freddie Galvis. Take it down and away. This is the only run of the game. It may not have gone as far as Matt Stairs' home run, but
depends on which one you're talking about. The 462.
2-1 pitch. Outside 3-1. Grichuk is on deck. He'll be batting for the first time. That was like a 2-strike swing right there. So that's what we're talking about with this curveball. It's been up in the zone today. It hasn't had that real good bite to it. There's a good curveball right on the outside part of the plate. Moss says it went around the plate. And there are 2 outs.
Good curveball, Moss. You can see right here, he steps in the bucket because he got fooled so bad. Might have reached out a little bit, but like I always said, the backdoor curveball is always a strike.
Well, that is the first strikeout of the day for Jared Eichhoff.
Tom, when we're pitching, it's always...
I got you. I was trying to word it differently to get it to come back at you. One ball and 1 strike to Grichuk. Hitting just a $186, but he does have 4 home runs. Curveball. Oh, he buckled him. Swing and a miss. He got him. Back-to-back strikeouts on the curve. And the side is retired. The Eichhoff family certainly like that. Young man's pitched a pretty good ball game. He needs a little offense, though, when we come back. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Those highlights pretty much wrap it up. The Phillies had one chance really to tie this game up, and you saw the line drive double play that Moss was able to finish off the 1 inning with. We'll go to the top of the 7th. Both starting pitchers have been very good. Jaime Garcia has been good through 6. He's allowed just the 2 hits. Jared Eickhoff has been excellent through 6. He's allowed 5 hits, including a home run. So now it's Andres Blanco who'll lead it off. It'll be Blanco, Ruff, and Rupp. Blanco has struck out. He's also grounded out to shortstop. He's playing third base today for Maikel Franco. Andres looks like he's trying to pull everything from Jaime Garcia.
Looks like he's trying to tie the ball game up with one pitch, which I have no problems with, as long as it's the right pitch to try to do it with.
Outside.
Which means if you're going to try to pull a fastball up and away or a fastball outer third to left field, now you're getting into an area where you're going to hit a weak ground ball to the left side.
Off the end of the bat, and that is a weak ground ball back to the mound, but the same concepts. 1 out. There's Darren Ruff. Let's check in with Greg Murph. Murph, what the heck's going on around the National League East?
Well, let me tell you, it's brought to you by Toyota, and the D-backs and Marlins getting together tonight at 7:10 down in Miami. Marlins have won 9 of 10. Adam Conley back on the hill for them tonight after his good outing last time. And I hear, Tom, that the roof is open tonight.
Oh,
Nats
okay.
and Cubs, huge series starting in Chicago. Nats 11-4 on the road. Cubs plus 93 run differential. Something has to give. You saw the Mets are in San Diego. Mets are 13-3 in their last 16 games, guys.
Roof is open. That's good. Hopefully the roof's open tomorrow night as well. That ballpark is much nicer when the roof is open, much darker when it's closed. Darren Ruff takes a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Ruff, who is grounded back to the mound and is also grounded out to shortstop. That play earlier where Darren fell to the ground was what caused the contusion to Matt Adams, as we've been told. No balls and 2 strikes to Ruff. There's a liner out toward left center field. Grichuk going back. He has room and makes the catch. A sinking line drive. 2 away. Here's the play what we were talking about.
Garcia throws it in the dirt. Adams does a nice job. You can see he's right in the middle of the path, and right there his foot clipped him under the left knee.
Oh yeah. Darren was the one that got up slow too. These are 2 big boys. Cameron singled his first time out. That was the first hit of the day for the Phillies. Only other one was Tyler Goodell line drive base hit to right center field. Got him. And Rupp strikes out. Side is retired. 7 consecutive hitters retired by Jaime Garcia. We'll stretch here at St. Louis. Yadier Molina will lead it off when we get back. 1-0. Phillies fans, next time you want to grab Phillies seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by best value. We take the price and location of seats and show you which tickets at StubHub give you the best deal. So get the StubHub app today. That young guy is ready for a little Phillies offense, but first Jared Eichhoff has got to get through the bottom of the 7th inning. Yadier Molina, Jeremy Hazelbaker, and Colton Wong. First pitch is in there. Such good starting pitching this year from the Phillies. They came into today's ball game with the 5th best earned run average among starters in the National League. Today, Eichhoff has thrown less curveballs, more sliders than usual. That one is punched down the right field line. It'll be out of play, and it's even 2-2. They still maintain their lead in strikeouts in the National League. You hate to waste this kind of starting pitching. I mean, that's the
just about to say that,
because sometimes you won't get it.
No, that's right.
Three pitches for Eichhoff. Curveball pulled foul down the third base line. And it remains 2-2. Past Jim Maloney, the third base coach, who has been in that box the entire day. Not that he's waving anybody, but he has. I've been watching him from time to time. He has not moved from the white line of that third base coach's box. He's had a few conversations with the home plate umpire, Mark Carlson. Last night, Maloney looked like he got in the way. Well, he did get in the way of Andres Blanco, and Blanco was trying to tag out Carlos Martinez. And he did not make any contact, which is why nothing was ruled as far as interference goes or anything like that. If he makes contact with his base runner, then he's no longer part of the field of play. He's an obstacle. But technically, he was part of the field of play last night, which is why nothing was changed on that play. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Molina. And just a bit high. Cameron Rupp not too pleased. And that's ball 4, so Molina is aboard. Elvis Araujo warming up at the bullpen. As Hazelbaker is due up. Here's the play we're talking about. So Martinez, who was pinch running, got too far off the third base bag. Andres Blanco went after him. Martinez nearly hit Jim Maloney. Maloney was doing a little hopping and skipping.
Cinco de Mayo day.
Yeah.
This night early. He did a nice job getting out of the way. My issue is it's a balk right there.
I do believe they say that Eichhoff did not step off. He just stumbled as he turned toward first. So Yadier Molina will be awarded second. Oh yeah, he just turned his ankle. Pete Buchanan's coming out with Sean Ficasny just to make sure he's okay.
Just to finish my point real quick about a third base or a first base or wherever. So there was no contact made. But what if White did a nice job. He didn't miss stride. But what if he delays for a second for him to get out of the way, and it costs that runner to get across home plate?
Yeah. So my understanding of the rule, Matt, and there is a rule that if there's no contact made, then I mean it would be up to the umpire and his judgment. But if there's no contact made, then there wouldn't be interference. If there's contact made, let's say if Maloney had hit Andres Blanco or hit his own player, then yes, there would have been interference.
Which makes absolutely no sense why they have the white boxes out there for the coaches to stand in.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Mark Carlson talked to him even after last night's game, and what Pete was saying today, he said, you know, I've been a third base coach for a long time. When I was a manager of the minor leagues, we had to be the third base coach because you can't get in the way. He said you have to get out of the way. Runner at second base as Eichhoff turns back toward the second base bag. Hazelbaker is walked. He's also grounded out. 0 for 1. First career balk here in the big leagues for Jared Eichhoff. Jonathan Broxton. He's warming up. Speaking of long home runs. Line drive, base hit to left field. Molina will stop at third. Hazelbaker gets the base hit, and that puts runners on first and third with nobody out. And Colton Long is due up. T. Buchanan is coming up the stairs. Elvis Araujo has been warming up. They may go lefty on lefty, and there is the signal to the pen. So Eichhoff is done after 6+ innings. He certainly deserves a better fate, but he is responsible for the 2 base runners. So pitching change here in St. Louis. Elvis Araujo is coming up, and the Eichhoff family and friends, they enjoyed what they saw. Was for $100, available for select weekend home games. It's the Phillies family packs. For more information and to order, visit the ticket section at phillies.com. 1-0. Cardinals on top thanks to a Brandon Moss home run. Jared Eichhoff today, 6+ innings. Matt, he didn't have his best curveball, but he still pitched pretty well.
No, I thought he did very well. He fielded his position very well. Minus the one mistake of giving up the long home run. I thought he was down in the zone. He had good movement with his fastball. He mixed in some few extra changeups, but I like the fact that he threw his slider a lot more today and he kept the hitters off balance. And it's nice to have that great curveball back door when you can strike out lefties and righties.
So Jed Jerko is going to pinch hit now as Araujo comes on for Jared Eichhoff. Phillies will set up, looks like to turn 2, although Galvis is a little shallower than double play depths where he's standing. First pitch is low, 1 ball, no strikes. Outside.
Of course, they pinch hit for Wong. I had all the information done up. Pitches per at bat. How many pitches he's seen this series?
How many pitches did he have per at bat?
5.9.
No, that's what you were talking about.
Major League average is 3.8.
Outside again, 3-0. Ruben Tejada is on deck. Pitcher spot is up after him. Runners lead off first and third. Neither one has a big lead. And it pours in for a strike, 3-1. Way outside, ball 4. So that's the second walk of this inning. And it loads up the bases. Tejada's coming up. Nobody else is warming up in the bullpen. Looks like Matt Holliday's coming out of the on-deck circle for the Cardinals, so Garcia will be done. Phillies are going to play the infield in here. And that's a strong indication about the offense and how much it struggled here this afternoon. Because they're going to try to cut off a run. Down 1-0. Tejada takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. Thought maybe they would play the infield back 0 for 2. Get a couple outs if they can. Bob McClure is going to come out and talk to Elvis Araujo, who's erratic so far.
I guess Pete's thinking first and third situation. You go for the double play up the middle. You see to the run. Now all of a sudden you have the bases loaded. Force play at home. Hopefully maybe you can get a 6-2 double play.
Yeah, maybe.
You know. But it is different though to see that the bases loaded come in, especially now that you have 2 guys in scoring position.
Colton Murray in bullpen. So after the trip to the mound, it's 1-0 to Tejada. Fly ball right field. Borges over toward the line. Near the crowd. Makes the catch. Molina tags. The throw is cut off by Ruff. And it's a sac fly. 2-0 St. Louis. And Matt Holliday will bat with runners on second and third. I don't think if Borges had turned and thrown to second, if it would have kept the double play in order. I don't know. I mean, Jerko looked like he was destined to go from first.
Right, but at least you have a better chance. As a base runner, you go back and you tag and you watch the throw. Now the throw is being made
to second. Maybe you're not going to go.
Right, you're going to freeze because you don't want to run into that out. You can see him come over here right now.
He's got no chance to get Molina.
No, 0. And I know he's trying to hit the cutoff man, but if he goes up and fires a second base, now you have first and third situation.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I mean, that's what Peter should have done in that spot to keep the double play in order. Now they're walking Holiday to load it up anyway. Interesting, some of the little things that you see during the course of a game sometimes are magnified. They probably would have, I don't know what they would have done, because then you're dealing with Carpenter, but you have lefty on lefty.
Kind of interesting right here to see that once the runners did advance second and third, you did get the sac fly by Tejada. Really good chance. Well, there's a 100% chance now, but surprising Matheny didn't pull back Holiday and not waste the bat.
Because you figured they were going to walk him intentionally.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, so Carpenter's up. Carpenter is 2 for 3 today. Both of the hits that he has came against Jared Eichhoff. But the Phillies will set up to try to turn 2. Although they shorten up a little bit more. Check swing, ball in the dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. Two runs charged to the line of Jared Eichhoff. He's still responsible for the 2 runners in scoring position. Or excuse me, 1 of the runners in scoring position. The other one is to the line of Araujo.
Nice barehanded catch by the fan, letting people know that he is number 1.
Ricky Henderson did it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Matt Carpenter. Fly ball. Back of second base. Galvis shading his eyes from the sun. Infield fly rule was called, so the batter's automatically out, and they're 2 away. That's a good pitch from Elvis Araujo.
Good pitch, good location. Carpenter tried to fight it off. He gets jammed. Good action, good movement on a 2-seamer.
Pete McCadden coming out. Colton Murray is going to be called upon to face Stephen Piscotty. So 1 run is in. Cardinals lead it 2-0, but there are 2 outs. The bases are loaded. Colton Murray's checking in to try to get the right-hander to finish up this inning. Talks about the Phillies' surprising start, plus Reuben Frank and Tim McManus discuss Sam Bradford's options. Watch Philly Sports Talk tonight at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, the options here for Colton Murray, there are few. Phillies are down 2-0. He comes into a bases loaded situation with 2 men down, and he's going to face Stephen Piscotty. Murray did a heck of a job last night coming out of the bullpen. Piscotty today is 0 for 3. Lined out to left his last time up. See the base runners. Hazelbaker, Jerko, and Matt Holliday. I thought Colton Murray showed a great fastball last night. Good velocity, good location. He was able to mix in that breaking pitch.
Now the question is, does he have the trust of throwing that breaking ball first pitch? Bases loaded, your reliever coming out of the bullpen. Usually throw your best pitch.
There was a fastball of 94.
Big area for Colton Murray to come into. Young kid, good arm, coming in a situation, bases loaded, 2 out. Bear down, make some pitches, get out of this inning and get some confidence.
There's that curve. But it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I watched the reaction of you, and I watched the reaction of Murray. Watch after he swings and misses. He looks to his left going, okay, we don't want to live that in area anymore. Let's get the ball down the zone. I got away with 1.
Maybe start it where Cameron caught it.
Trust your catcher that he'll block it.
Bases are loaded. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Piscotty. Check swing. Did he go? No. This is the first base umpire, Mike DeMuro. And it's even 2-2.
Best pitch in baseball to hit right now with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. He does not want to go to 3-2. I'm sitting all over Heater in this situation. Because you know 3-2 curveballs coming, or fastball, sorry, excuse me. And if he throws you a curveball and you strike out, you tip your hat to the pitcher.
See where Rupp sets up on this one. He's outside. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball. It runs in. They appeal again. No swing again. And it's 3-2. And now everybody is off and running. Oh boy.
I tell you,
that was a lot closer than I thought. It looked like he had gone through. Three balls and 2 strikes with the bases loaded. Runners lead off. And the pitch. Hit sharply. A fair ball down the left field line. Into the crowd. It'll be a ground rule double. 2-run score. 4-0 St. Louis. Well, give Piscotty credit. He was given new life after the previous pitch was called a check swing, and he drove this one right down the line.
3-2 fastball inside.
Just what you talked about, Matt.
You get in a situation, you know you're going to see a lot of fastballs, especially 2-2, 3-2. Right, 2-2 pitch is so important.
Curveball swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Now that's a good curveball. Moss is 1 for 3. Homered his first time up, popped out, and struck out looking. The 2 walks have scored. 2 of the 3 walks have scored in this inning. Jared Eichhoff charged with 3 runs in this outing. It's a very similar line to the one he had last time out. 6 hits, 3 runs, same thing he had last time. Only a couple strikeouts.
Interesting to see Moss get up there in the first 2 pitches, takes those big hacks at breaking balls. You have a base open at first base, so now you need to start thinking like a pitcher. He's not going to groove me a fastball with the base open. If I go after it, I'm doing him a favor. Hopefully he hangs a curveball. That's what that as a thought process of the hitter.
There is a curve, and it's up and away, 2-2. Yeah, you have to trust that process.
Well, you just need. Well, you need to know who's hitting behind you, and many times you walk up, you look behind you. If it's a right or left, you usually know, unless it's a double switch, and you know the situation. He's not going to groove you a fastball first pitch with the base open.
Holiday at third, and Piscotty at second base.
Now again, 2-2 fastball he missed. As a hitter with 3 balls, 2 strikes, you take the approach that is 2-2. I'm sitting curveball this pitch.
Got it, and he chopped it foul. What about this one here? Be nice if he had a third pitch he can throw, but.
Again, as a hitter, with a lot of people might think 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, automatic fastball. They don't want to walk him. In this situation, you need to almost hit like you're defensive. He has a good fastball. I'm sitting fastball away.
Swing and a miss, and Moss is struck out, and the side is retired. But 3-run score in the inning for the Cardinals. They leave a couple. We'll head to the 8th inning. It's 4-0 St. Louis on top of the Phillies. Garcia really minimized the damage today for the Cardinals against the Phillies. In fact, he didn't allow a base hit until the single by Cameron Rupp in the 5th inning.
He had a lot of things working today. One, he had a very aggressive team up there swinging at pitches, balls down in the strike zone, hitting a lot of ground balls, which we heard Murph talking about having a great ratio with the curveballs this year, building his position, just keeping the hitters off balance and absolutely destroying a lot of bats.
Yeah, you can hear it in the background.
A lot of Gimlin right there, another one by Herrera. So he did a nice job, not like you said, not giving a hit up to the 5th inning and only allowing one run until the 5th inning, and that was on the air from Diaz back in the 1st inning.
Well, Jonathan Broxton will take over here in the 8th inning. Broxton in his 12th ball game, an ERA of 1.64. He's going to face Hernandez, Goodell, and Borges. Phillies have 2 hits. That's it. Both hits came in the 5th. And Cesar bunts foul, and it's 0-1. Howard is available to pinch hit if need be. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I like the fact that Cesar is starting to attempt more bunts. It's so important because now the 3rd baseman comes in, plays right on top of the hitter. Ground ball gets past him a lot quicker.
Out toward left center field, Grichuk makes the catch. I agree with his speed. He certainly can open up certain sides of the field with those bunt attempts.
Now all of a sudden, if Cesar Hernandez decides to drag bunt and bring a couple of bunts with him towards the 2nd baseman, now all of a sudden you have the 3rd baseman playing in the shallow. The 2nd baseman has to cheat by coming in probably 4 or 5 steps, because anytime Cesar drags a bunt, it's going to be a base hit. Now what happens? It's almost like playing with the infield in. Ball goes to the infield a lot quicker.
Tyler Goodell takes a strike. It's 0-1. Goodell singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Down the right field line. That'll go out of play.
I just noticed with Goodell's timing is getting a little better. He played yesterday, playing today. That doesn't mean he's going to get a knock, but at least you feel a little better about yourself after the game, knowing, hey, my timing was back a little bit. I gave myself a better opportunity or a better chance to get a hit today.
There's Howard. Lowe is on deck to pinch hit for Borges. Two balls and 2 strikes. David Hernandez. Looks like he'll be the next one out of the bullpen for the Phillies in the bottom of the 8th inning. Goodell tried to check. They'll appeal. No swing, says Mike DeMuro.
That one wasn't as bad as the last inning.
The Scotties, yeah. He was close. Over to 3rd. Carpenter takes it on the short hop and sweeps the throw over for the 2nd out. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. By Jefferson. Call 800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Here's Lowe with 2 away. A liner out toward right field. On the run is Piscotty. It's over his head, and it is off the top of the wall. Lowe runs well. He's on his way to second. He's thinking 3 and will get there easily. So David Lowe has a 2-out triple. So a pinch hit triple for Lowe, and now Ryan Howard will indeed bat here in the 8th inning.
Good swing, good at bat right here, getting a pitch right down the middle of the plate. Just missing a pinch hit home run.
So Howard, who has 2 home runs in this series, now off the bench. His career numbers as a pinch hitter. 6 home runs, hitting over 300. Inside, 1-0.
Make it 7 to make this game interesting. 4-3. Excuse me, 4-2.
Ryan's numbers against Broxton. Three balls and no strikes. .23 career home runs against the Cardinals. He is the active leader in that category. Prince Fielder, even though he's been in the American League the last couple of years, last few years, he's still among the leaderboard. Howard takes, it's 3-1. Duble on deck. Back toward the middle, under the glove of Broxton, backhanded by Carpenter, and the inning is over. 5-3 on the putout, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left over at third. On to the bottom of the 8th. The Phillies trail it 4-0 to the Cardinals. Matt, now time for the Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Well, it was a big play in the game. It was a 1-0 game. Peter Borges hits a line drive to Moss at first base. First and third situation. Not much you can do as a base runner. Good play by Moss. Tough luck right there. And that's your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
All right, so now we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 4-0 ball game. David Lowe will stay in to play right field. And David Hernandez will come on to pitch. He'll face Adams. Excuse me, he'll face Grichuk, Molina, and Hazelbaker. Pitches upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. One ball and 2 strikes. On the outside corner, strike 3 call. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Fly ball right field. David Lowe will wait for it. And there are 2 outs.
David Hernandez's fastball lately has been explosive. I think it's surprised a lot of people with the velocity he's had. Remember opening day, 89, 90, 91 maybe. Now he's 94, 95. It's just not the fact that it's getting harder and harder. He's actually got some good movement on it.
And it's around the strike zone.
Yeah, that's the key. Around the strike zone, some late movement.
No balls and 1 strike to Hazelbaker. 0-2.
I've seen more conversations in this series between hitters and catchers during the at-bats than.
A 1-hopper to first. Darren Ruff has got it. Oh boy, and Hernandez has to hurry over and does in time to get Hazelbaker. 3-1 on the putout. And Mike Matheny has already asked him to hold up. And Hernandez is slow to get back up into his stance. That was really close. It should be the final out in the 8th inning.
Stride for stride.
I think he got him. That should be the final out.
Left leg twisted after he landed.
Yeah, the foot of Hernandez hits the bag before the foot of Hazelbaker.
Right there. Oh.
Oh boy, that almost looked like Charlie Morton, didn't it? The way he went up the first base line in Milwaukee. So he'll limp off. We'll head to the 9th inning after a scoreless bottom of the 8th. Phillies down 4-0.
Louis. Phillies trailing the Cardinals 4-0. When this one is all said and done, the road trip continues. Phils hop on a plane and head to Miami to play the red-hot Marlins. And tomorrow, Vince Velasquez will take the ball against the left-hander Chen for the Marlins. It'll be Hellickson versus Kohler on Saturday night. And on Sunday, a day game, Aaron Nola for the Phils versus Justin Nicolino for the Miami Marlins guys. But Phils have some work to do, but this one's not over yet.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Trevor Rosenthal is coming on, even though it's not a save situation. He has not worked in this series. And he will face Odubel Herrera. Odubel is 0 for 3. A rare hitless day for Odubel Herrera. Until now. An opposite field single. He is aboard here in the 9th inning. And Freddie Galvis will come up. All right, Phillies down by 4. I hope Murph's right. This one is not over. See if the Phillies can string some hits together here against the Cardinals closer. Up and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
Such a funny game. You can have 3 at-bats and look just brutal versus a left-hander and not feel comfortable. And then all of a sudden you see the first pitch from a right-hander and hit it base hit the left. Like you just rolled out of bed and hit it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying his 3 at-bats were brutal. I'm just saying you have that brutal feeling. You feel you struggling there. You're not picking up the pitches. He fouled off a lot of pitches, just never get any knocks.
Upstairs, and it's 3-0. Yeah, you're right. He did see a lot of pitches. Phillies need a couple more base runners to bring the tying run to the plate. Phillies have not been shut out this season. Trying to avoid that right here. Maybe put together a heck of a comeback. They have 6 shutouts. They haven't been shut out. It's all part of what has been a remarkable month. There's a high fly ball deep down the right field line, hooking toward the corner and out of play. Andres Blanco waits on deck. And a line drive base hit it to right field. Herrera will stop at second. It'll be first and second with nobody out. I don't know if Odubel didn't read that right away.
I don't know unless he was just playing it safe, going base to base. Nice swing right here by Galvis. He paused a little bit. He froze in the line drive.
Better be safe than sorry.
Hard to save in baseball. 4-run lead.
Particularly since you don't get credit for it.
Exactly.
Andres Blanco the hitter, and Blanco fouls it off. It's 0-1. 96 on that fastball from Rosenthal. It's been a decent closer for the Cardinals.
foul ball is about 4 seats away from the last foul ball that was hit. Woody's had some pretty good swings so far in this game. I should say throughout the game today. Unfortunately, they're going in the wrong direction. Frustrating as a hitter when you get a pitch to hit and you foul it straight back. You know you're just swinging underneath it just a hair.
That one he's just trying to stay alive. It's an 87-mile-an-hour changeup. And it remains 0-2.
Notice all of a sudden you get a couple of runners on base. Velocity starting to go up a little bit. Starting to mix in some changeups.
Fly ball, shallow right field. On the run is Piscotty to foul territory. He dives and he made a wonderful grab. And Herrera is on his way to third and he'll get there. But that was an excellent play by Stephen Piscotty. I thought that ball was just going to bounce free in foul territory.
Well, Piscotty went a long way for this ball. Full speed, lays out, makes a nice play. The concentration watching the ball go in the glove and landing on the warning track.
We might have to amend our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
You mean brought to you by local Hyundai dealers?
Yeah. Here's Darren Ruff with runners on first and third. One man down here in the top of the ninth inning. Phillies down 4-0. Popped him up, and that'll be out of play, and it's 0-1.
Darren needs to get a knock or a sac fly just to get some confidence back in himself. He's been swinging the bat okay. His last at bat, he hit a ball pretty good to center field. Pete always talks about trying to get him in there and get some more at bats to get his timing going. It's a lot easier to get in that lineup when you're swinging the bat well and get more at bats that way.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Ruff. Just spoils it foul. Out front of an off-speed pitch, and they're 2 away. Cameron Rupp is coming up. Don't forget, after the ballgame, Ricky Vitalico provides a full breakdown of today's series finale, only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live. And it was a nasty pitch from Rosenthal. Cameron Rupp is 1 for 3. Miller goes from first. Pitch is swung on and missed. He was late on the 97-mile-an-hour heater. No balls, 1 strike. Oh, and 2 to Rupp. Two pitch coming to Rupp. Grounder back to the box, and that should do it. Rosenthal flips to first, and for the first time this year, the Phillies have been shut out. They lose today by a final score of 4-0, and the Cardinals take 3 of 4 here in St. Louis. Piscotty had himself a heck of a series and made an outstanding defensive play here in the 9th inning. And that put the first out on the board. He also had a 2-run